Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. Let's get into this one. So Ben Whitaker, the top prospect fighting in the light heavyweight division, Olympian. Um, so I'm going to be as honest as possible about this, and I'm even going to stick my neck on the line for this one. I think he's good for British boxing. I think he's a character. I think it's exciting. I think people draw uh, comparisons between him and Naz. I think there was a guy called Jorge Paez. It was Jorge Paez, I think in the 80s, that he fights more like Jorge Paez than he does Naz. People will draw comparisons to Naz. And one of the reasons why people draw comparisons to Naz is because in British boxing, there's not a lot of characters. I think British sportsmen in general are suppressed. Why I say this is that um, if you look at the footballers, Matt Letizia, he was a very skillful footballer. Multi, he could do things, flip balls over his head and all the rest of it. But he never appreciated it. Even Gaza, they didn't appreciate like people are creative. Um, and Naz, even when Naz was about, yeah, I hated. A lot of people hated Naz, Chris Eubank. They hate showmanship, but they appreciate you when you're gone. But when you're doing what you're doing at the top, they want to drag you down and see you fail. So I don't really believe that generally the British public like um, or the British media, may I say, better. The British media like guys who are confident, guys who are um, flamboyant, guys who back themselves and guys that are winners. Joe Kazaki. You'd wonder Joe Kazaki was 47 and 0, 48 and 0 unbeaten, but he never really captured the British imagination the way he should. Frank Bruno, he lost so many times in world title fights, but he captured the public's imagination. You know, um, then you look at someone like Ricky Hatton, who's a good fighter, damn good fighter, but it was exciting, um, but he was nowhere as skilled as Joe Kazaki, um, and he got found out at the highest level. Joe Kazaki at the highest level exceeded, beating guys like Mikkel Kessler, went on, even though it was an older version. Roy Jones beat Roy Jones. I'm not too sure about Hopkins' win, but anyway, I was always think that was debatable. But anyway, beside the point, I thought Joe Kazaki was an excellent fighter. Um, so I always found that British boxing likes, I hate to say the word a loser, but they like the loser than a guy that's cocky and confident. They want to see him get flat on his face, and people want to see that for Ben Whitaker as well. And it's a frustrating thing because I remember Josh Kelly. If I take you back to Josh Kelly, when Adam Booth was talking rubbish, and I think it was absolute rubbish. I can't believe he said it. That that Josh Kelly is the most talented fighter he'd ever worked with. I'm looking at David Hay. I'm looking at George Groves. I'm thinking, are you saying that this dude is better than those two guys? Like, I couldn't see it, but he was saying it. And of course, Josh Kelly got. Remember Josh Kelly? That the highlight of Josh Kelly where he knocked a guy out with I think three, four left hooks or five left hooks, and everyone was jumping up and down about Josh Kelly. But those highlight reels destroyed Josh Kelly because he believed in the highlight reels too much, and then come on stuck against a real fight, which is David Zavazania. So yeah, but I could always see that happening with Josh Kelly. So now on to Ben Whitaker again. I love his personality. He's got a quirky personality. He's got one which Marmite, you either love him or you hate him. But there's a showmanship. I get it, and I get the need to entertain. I get that, and I get the persona. I get that. But here for me is the problem. whilst the highlight clips, some of the highlight clips are absolutely amazing, and he's bamboozling the opponent. That's great, but you got to ask yourself the question: he's bamboozling who? He's bamboozling a guy like, that guy's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. That good dude, he did that too. The dude is not going to be no world champion. That dude's not going to be noted for anything but a guy that was on a highlight reel that Ben Whitaker made look like an idiot. That's what it is, to be honest with you all. And that's it. Remember when Naz did what he did to Jose Badillo? But Badillo was a good fighter. Badillo had a good chin, and Badillo could fight. And the reason why Naz was doing that to Badillo was because he was trying to open Badillo up to catch him with big shots. Because Badillo was defensively solid, was a good standing boxer, and he was making life difficult for Naz. And the crowd were booing Naz, and Naz decided to do something to open up Badillo so he'd walk onto shots. But Naz was frustrated that night. But Naz had the ability to turn it on. Good evening, Anthony. Naz had the ability to turn it on, and he had rocket launchers. What I mean rocket launchers? Guy will knock you out. He'll knock you out so hard, yeah. You will go and say hello to your ancestors and come back. That's how hard Naz would hit you. You could see the power of Naz. And when he hit Billy Hardy with I think it was a jumping uppercut, he broke Naz Hardy's nose. You could see the pain as Hardy was falling to the canvas. Or Said Lawal, who smashed him around. I but I don't. This is my personal opinion, right? And everyone's got their own to their own opinion. But my personal opinion of Ben Whitaker is he's not going to make it. He is not going to make it. I'm sorry. And I'll tell you why he's not. Why I don't. At this point, if he carries on with this rubbish he's doing at the moment, and what I mean by this rubbish, the last guy he fought, yeah, was hitting him clean and regular at that level, and the guy can't punch. I'm telling you now, if he continues to do the crap he's doing at the moment, yeah, he is going to get himself exposed or flattened before he gets to world level. I'm telling you now, because that stuff can only last so long, right? Every fight you're trying to put a gimmick on, and it's okay against certain levels of opposition. But when he gets to championship level, if he gets to championship level, he's getting chinned. I'm telling you right now, he's getting chinned. There's something about him that, like, at a certain level, I don't know what that level is yet, a certain level, he's going to get found out before he even gets to fight for a world title. That's he looks very vulnerable, absolutely. And that last guy he fought was hitting him clean, and you're getting hit clean at that level, that level. Are you an area champion? Are you a British champion? You're not even a British champion, and you're getting nailed like that. And you're meant to be an Olympian, and you're getting nailed like that. And to me, if you get nailed like that now, and it's not a puncher, and you're in the light heavyweight division, and you do that crap against a real puncher in a light heavyweight division, you are finito, finished, done. Because you want to take one of them big shots. Every time I look at, the sad thing is every time I look at Whitaker, I keep thinking about Andre Ward. He not the way he boxes, but just looking at him, he makes me think about Andre Ward all the time. And it's a sad thing because Andre Ward was one of my favourite fighters. It's a sad day when you look at with Ben Whitaker and you think of Andre Ward. It's a sad day. And I just don't like, when there's a difference between confident and cocksure. See, confidence, we still got the ability to make the adjustments, and your delusions are not to the point where you can't see them. When you're cocksure, you're beyond a level of awareness, and you're blinded by the hype and blinded by what you think is making you the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know, Um, but in his four belt era, maybe five belts, he might be potential to get one of those straps. Ward was more defensively sound. Whitaker throws shots with his chin exposed. Exactly. No, no, I don't. I'm not comparing Ward and Whitaker in terms of skill level. I'm comparing them in terms of looks. They have. Certain times you look at Whitaker and you think, is that bloody Andre Ward's son or something? Just like when I look at Amma Williams, I see Antonio Tarver. It's the same thing I see with Andre Ward. They're both light skinned. Nah, bro, you funny guy. You're funny, do that thing. You know what I'm talking about. Don't try that one about they're both light skinned. Yeah, you know, in our community, often we talk about the light skinned brother with the light skinned chip on his shoulder. That's where the comparison ends. That's it. I know exactly. That's what I say. It's a sad day when you compare Andre Ward to Ben Whitaker. Personally, I'm gonna call it now. The verdict is out on Ben Whitaker. I'm gonna call it, like Uncle Bashir would say. The verdict is out on Ben Whitaker. He's got two things he needs to do for me. First of all, he needs to take a good shot on the chin. And I'll tell you who Ben Whitaker reminds me of. Right? Strange comparison, but still a comparison. Herkovich. Herkovich in the amateurs, yeah, he was a damn good amateur. But when you put the heat on it of Herkovich, like I said about the George Joyce fight, when you put pressure on Herkovich, he folds. He folds. He doesn't like pressure. If you look at Whitaker in the amateurs, the way he got beat in the amateurs is when a guy started putting pressure on him and closing him down, and that's where he got beat. I wonder if somebody can step to Whitaker, take his punching power, step close to him, break him down, work his body, and put that pressure on him. Is he going to fold the same way he folded in the amateurs? That's my suspicion, right? Because at the moment he's not getting hit by anybody who can punch, and the way he was getting nailed in that last fight, I'm sorry. If that's Boatsy nailing you with them shots, my brother, my brother, you cannot fight like that. Whitaker needs to move to train America and get a better trainer. But bro, hold on. No, we've been there already. Isn't he with Virgil Hunt? Wasn't he with uh Hill? Javon Hill? Wasn't he with Sugar Hill? He was training with Sugar Hill. I'll be going to America. No, bros. He's already been to America. He got Sugar Hill as his trainer. I think they've parted ways. I think they're parted ways. I'm not sure. But he was a Sugar Hill, so he's already had the American thing. So, and he's still getting nailed like that. So for me, the verdict is out. And let me tell you something. I haven't even seen this surgeon fight. Yeah, this guy talking about being a surgeon, and listen, the way that dude's carrying on, I can see him getting I can see that dude getting absolutely smashed. I don't know anything about the dude, yeah. I know nothing about him, but his energy is off. His energy is completely off. He comes to a press conference, he's run up his gums, yeah, and then he's run up his gums at the press conference, and as soon as he's got the fight, his whole demeanor's changed. So to me, it just seems like he's coming for a payday. If he was any genuine threat to Whitaker, would they really put that dude in the ring with Whitaker? If he was a real threat, I don't think so. There's probably something about that dude. Either he doesn't take a punch very well, or he's flat-footed. I haven't even gone to see the guy fight yet. Right. So anyway, and if Whitaker gets chinned by that surgeon, the surgeon is a surgeon or a doctor, whatever. If he gets chinned by him, like it's not good. But anyway, I don't see how you can just me. I don't understand how you can just roll up to a press conference, say a few words, and then me and you are fighting. Nobody knows you from Adam or Eve. You say a couple of words, blah 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 blah. Next minute you're fighting Ben Whitaker. I'm going to show these dudes how it's done. Well, I mean, the dude who called you out, who's he? No, I didn't know that dude. You probably didn't know that dude that's listening to me now. So unless you go to YouTube now, I didn't even bother going to YouTube now, because the minute I saw his energy shift, once he got the fight, I was like, this dude's on to payday. And then you talk about, oh well, I'm a doctor. Who gives a damn? You could talk about that after the. I brought it up at a press conference. I'm like, why are you bringing that up at a press conference, dude? You just sound like a guy who's just coming for the payday, and looking for the opportunity to get a payday. And you think, well, if I get knocked out, don't matter. I can put it towards my practice. Because I don't expect the African guy to do anything. He says he will be a doctor soon. I expect that he might need a doctor after the fight. Yeah, he might need a doctor. That's right. I don't, I don't know. Just his whole demeanor, just his whole energy shifted. So for me, the verdict is out on Ben Whitaker. Oh, I might let me just continue this video here so I can get through everything. So people ask me like, who do I like in British boxing? Who would I run home to watch in British boxing? Well, the one guy I would run home to watch in British boxing is a man by the name of Richard Riaphorhe. Richard Riaphorhe, believe it or not, has been on BWTM Sports. Yes, yes. And Richard Riaphorhe, do you know how he introduced himself to me? He was talking about how he wanted to chase the Lawrence Okolie fight. Yeah, down to like he was plotting there by promoter. Yeah, it seemed like that to me as well. But he kept saying he wanted to chase down Lawrence Okolie. I always remember him saying he wants to fight Lawrence Okolie, wants to fight Lawrence Okolie. That was before. I think he had one fight or two fights. Yeah, and I did an interview with him on BWTN Sports. And he's the same Richard Riaphorhe I'm seeing then to now. Nice dude, cool dude, real cool. And I like Riaphorhe's style, the Midnight Train. I like him. He reminds me of an old school, sort of fighters you would see. And back in the day, we had Terry Dunstan and yeah, he reminds me of one of them sort of boxers you'd see on Grandstand. Des Lynam would be introducing them, and like it'd be him, Gary Mason, Frank Bruno, um, all them dudes that I like him. Oh, thank you so much. So those dudes. The lady in there was a bit annoying. Sorry. Those dudes. Back in the day, Richard Rackmill reminds me of one of them. And so does Chris Smith. I like Chris Smith, but unfortunately for Chris Smith, you got chinned the first time, yeah? Fine. It was a tough fight. It was just lost. He lost the first time. This fight here, I think Chris Smith is gonna get chinned. I think he's gonna get chinned early as well. I'll tell you why. Chris Smith, I like him as a fighter. He's got a lot of big heart, a lot of guts. I don't think you can be leaving your chin out to dry. You can't be fighting like that against Richard Riaphorhe. Richard Riaphorhe, I saw he did to that guy that fought Usyk. Was it guy who fought Usyk? Did he fight Usyk? I think he fought Usyk. And he fought Okoli. And then he fought the Midnight Train. And the Midnight Train put him to sleep. But it might be a problem for Riaphorhe in this fight. It might be. But Chris Smith, I like Chris Smith, but he fights with his chin in the air. Bro, and he's easy to hit. My brother, you cannot be fighting like that at world level constantly without your chin eventually letting you down. You can't keep fighting like that. I'm sorry, you can't. Even your last fight he was in, he pulled it out of the bag. You can't be getting hit by Richard Riaphorhe like that. No, I'm sorry. I've always said, I've said it before and I said it again, I thought Richard Riaphorhe's one of the best cruiserweights in the world. But until I saw Jay Apataya. When I saw Jay Apataya, oh Jesus Christ! I'm not sure if I want Richard Riaphorhe in with Jay Apataya. If he goes in with Jay Apataya, he's got to be a world champion. So he's got to clean up Chris Smith. I don't think that they would have taken the fight if Riaphorhe was at his best. I suspect he might be there might be distractions outside of boxing. Yeah, Apataya is a level above the pack. Now, you see, I always thought that Riaphorhe was a world class fighter. if not the best cruiserweight in the world, one of the top three cruiserweights in the world. I always felt that. Now there's a problem though, and my problem with Riaphorhe is Madonna. I don't know how much time he's been spending with Madonna, and I've always found out, or I've always seen in boxing circles, that when these dudes start getting mixing celebrity lifestyle with boxing, it doesn't. I haven't seen one boxer yet it's ended up well good with. I haven't. I haven't. I think Breeders might even beat Riaphorhe. Might. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Breeders had them tough fights with Jay, and if Riaphorhe's that good, I think he's good, but we'll see. I mean, I might be all wrong about this, but I think he's a world champion and waiting Riaphorhe. I haven't seen Riaphorhe fight in a while, but I think he's got the goods there. I really do. Um, we'll see tomorrow night. We'll see tomorrow night if he's got the goods. But what the hell is a 33-year-old man doing with a granny like Madonna? It's clout, isn't it? It's clout. It's nothing but clout. I mean, come on. You say she granny, yeah, but wait, Madonna. Everybody in the world knows who Madonna is, and it's not like, do you know what I mean? I'm knocking about on Madonna, okay? Flipping hell. If you give me Cher, I wouldn't complain. Um, there's a few of them I wouldn't mind knocking around with, you know. If you give me Cher, I'm not going to say no to you. So, I mean, I wouldn't say no to Cher. There's quite a few of them older women I wouldn't say no to. It's 2024, not 1984 Ingram. Yeah, bro, but hold on. I can get away with it a little bit more. I'm 2 years from 50, so I can just about get away with it a bit more than flipping Riaphorhe. Is he 33 years old? 33. Ooh, it's not good. 33 and Madonna, if you understand what I'm saying with the numbers. Ooh. I think twice about Mr. Riaphorhe. It's going to work one or two ways for him. Ooh. Ouch. I think he's 35 to be honest. Who Riaphorhe's 35. Damn. He's not spring chicken, is he? I still think Riaphorhe knocks Okoli out. I still think Riaphorhe knocks Okoli out. But I expect him to knock out Crispin Smith inside six. I do. So I really believe in Riaphorhe's power. I think he's got more poison in his punching power now than back then. And Crispin Smith's a bit slower now. And he's there to get hit. Doesn't move his head. And Riaphorhe may have a point about him being in decline. He may. But we'll see. Another guy I like to see fight, believe it or not, and I believe has the opportunity to become a world champion, is Isaac Chamberlain. Richie Riaphorhe and Isaac Chamberlain are two British fighters I think that could go on and win world titles. Richie, Isaac Chamberlain has done things the hard way, and he's had that USA influence in his background. And just like, what's this boy's name? Hamza Shiraz. Another guy who's been on the road but spent a lot of time in America. You learn a lot of things in America. So although they're British fighters, they've had a lot of American influence. 35 in October. Yeah, he's got to get a move on then. Riaphorhe's got to get a move on. He really has got to get a move on. Because, yeah. I also wonder if his frame can make heavyweight. Because flipping if Okoli can make heavyweight, then I'd love to see Riaphorhe at heavyweight. I'd love to see him at heavyweight. Midnight Train at heavyweight. So I like the Midnight Train a lot. But flipping out, the Midnight Train better do the business tomorrow night because I'm putting my neck on the line about him. I like Chamberlain. I like Riaphorhe. I like Riaphorhe for sheer power. Um, and yeah, he could be a real star. Riaphorhe, he could be. We'll find out tomorrow night. against a live opponent who's a world champion, who believes himself and has got a point to prove. So if you can chin Bill Smith tomorrow night and chin him inside the distance, yeah, he started boxing late. He did. But sometimes it's not a bad thing. He hasn't got all the wear and tear of all those amateur fights, and so sometimes that works in your favour. Not always, sometimes. I'm hoping that what I'm seeing in Riaphorhe translates to world champion. It'll be another BWTM. I mean, that train facially reminds me of a young Bruno. He does, doesn't he? He does. He does. He's got that look about. But no, I think that Dan Aziz reminds me more of Bruno than Riakpo. Riakpo looks like a guy who should be a world champion. He looks like an elite fighter. To me, he looks like an elite fighter or a guy who's got the capabilities to be elite. He looks like he's got the physique, the height, the reach, the power, the movement. He's got it there. There's something about Riakpo, I think. He's got something there. But we'll see tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we'll see. Isaac Chamberlain, I like him. Isaac Chamberlain reminds me of 50. The times I'm looking at Isaac Chamberlain, he reminds me of 50 Cent. Anyway, all you need is a small window of success, maybe 3 or 4 years tops. Greetings to all the chat and to Ingram Jones. Great seeing you tonight, sir. Long live the Ing. Yeah, it's because I spent a lot of time on TikTok. I've got a TikTok account. I've got 2 TikTok accounts. And I'm wondering if I convert one of those TikTok accounts and make it BWTM Sports because I spend more time on TikTok talking boxing. So I'm wondering if I should just do that. I wonder if that would work. See if I can do the conversion, do my shows on TikTok. I don't think he has the technical ability though. Who? Riakpo are you talking about? Interesting. Okay, who do you think wins between Chris Billam Smith and Richard Riakpo? I think Jay Pattaya versus Riakpo. If Riakpo, yes. Um, I think Riakpo versus Jay Pattaya is a great fight. I still think it's a great fight. It's a shootout. Both guys can punch. Um, I, and I'd love to see that fight. I'd be more happy to see that fight. Should Riakpo do the business and beat Chris Billam Smith? But like I said to you in boxing, when you start getting around the celebrity circles, you start moving people like Madonna. Um, you know, I don't pardon the expression, but um, they tend to suck the life out of you and suck your passion and your drive and your hunger and your desire out of you. I don't, I've seen it so many times. I think I have Christmas Smith winning on the basis I don't think that the fight would happen if they knew he was living the life. Interesting, interesting, and that's my problem I have with Reactpool because I haven't really had the time to do the research that I normally do to find out if he's been living the life. But he's got all the attributes there to be a world champion. He would be an absolute idiot now to have gone through the life he's gone through, fought the way he's fought to get a world title shot against a guy who's already beaten up, right? To then go out there and let that guy come and beat him up. It would be absolutely stupid. But it's happened in boxing. I mean, it happens in boxing. So who else? We've got Whitaker. We've got Chamberlain. We've talked about Riakpo. Who else? Is there anybody else I need to talk about on the card? Anybody else come to mind? I'm wondering. Is there anybody else? Is there anybody else I should mention tonight? I don't think there is. Ah, Tank and Martin. I think, for me, Frank Martin and Tank Davis. I think the way you beat Tank is early. I think a guy like Tank, you've got to jump on him early, literally. You've got to put the pressure on him early. Once Tank starts to find you out, you're in trouble. Once Tank starts to time you and read you, you're in real trouble. But Tank he's a guy that has to build confidence. He has to find he's got to get comfortable before he can be effective, really effective. Tank. Inactivity at 35 years is a big deal. We saw what happened to Craig Richards in his last fight. He hadn't fought since 2022. Jesus, yeah. He looked bad, Craig Richards. He looked really bad. Yeah, but how good is Chris Billen Smith? That's the thing. How good is Chris Billen Smith? If he's really good, then Red Bull's going to be in trouble. Is he better than advertised? Is he truly world class? I don't know. He's dedicated, yes. The mix of inactivity plus complacency, or the fact that you beat a guy the first time round, could give Chris Billensmith the head edge mentally. Could. Could. I mean, Chris Billensmith is not going to be hard to hit. He'll be straight in Riaphorhe's face, and Riaphorhe will be straight in Chris Billensmith's face. So, I guess inactivity, the way it hurts your inactivity is your timing. Your timing of when you to land your punches. So, one other thing is Chris Billensmith is more beat up now than when they fought the first time. That's the only way I see him winning the fight, by KO. And that's the way I see him winning the fight anyway. I see him knocking Chris Vincent flat out. That's why I see it. But like you said, don't know what what Riaphorhe's doing behind closed doors. And again, of all the people to get caught behind closed doors with, it's Madonna. Like I said, people like that can suck the soul out of you. Quite literally suck the soul out of you. So we'll see. We'll see. Tomorrow night. We'll see. Tank Davis and Martin. I think it's going to be a great fight tomorrow night. Um, there are a lot of people. There are people that are picking Gavotsky to upset Benavides tomorrow night. Interesting. But you might be onto something. The fight is at Crystal Palace. A boxer might be planning this as a homecoming for him. Yeah, could be, could be. I mean, he's perfectly set for Riaphorhe, and if I remember rightly, Riaphorhe was going to be the face of boxer. If I'm right, originally he was the face of boxer. Wasn't he the face of boxer when they signed him? He was going to be the face of boxer, and they signed him, got pictures of him and stuff. I'm sure that was the case. Riaphorhe was the next big thing, the Midnight Train. I'm sure of it. I could be wrong, but I'm sure he was their poster boy. Richard Riaphorhe was their poster boy. And then did they sign Chris Billensmith after? I don't even know. I don't even know. All right. Anyway, I gotta go. I thought that the face of the boxer was going to be Boatsi. Nah, Boatsi signed after that. Boatsi signed way after that. Riaphorhe was signed first. I think Riaphorhe was one of the guys that was signed for Sky first. Boatsi came after, wasn't it? So, right, let me get the hell out of here. I've got to be up early in the morning and coaching tomorrow as well. I think CBS is more marketable to the mainstream though. Yeah, he's gentleman CBS, but we'll see. If he beats Riaphorhe tomorrow night, I think he definitely is going to be in the driving seat. You know. Right. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments, share the video. I'm out. It's good to be here.